Hey, journeyers. Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings. Hi, it's me, Dearice Spencer Shackleford with Dearice Speaks Life, and I am speaking life into your journey. And remember, life is living in full engagement. So, today I am going to share my story with you. I am going to share how I overcame depression. This is going to be me being very transparent about my life. So, just bear with me. There may be times where I do shed a couple of tears, but nonetheless, they are tears of joy. So I have to do this. This is very important for me to share this with you. As I stated, my name is Dearice Spencer Shackleford. I am a life coach, motivational speaker, and a purpose coach. In order for me to help others, I have to reveal and be transparent about who I am and what I have experienced in my life so that I can help others. So I on December 10th of 2017, I lost my father. My father passed away unexpectedly. And at the time, I was living here in Texas, and my dad was living in New York, which is my hometown, New York City. He was living in Harlem. Um, and when I found out, it was on a Monday when I got the call, I believe. It's a few days later. My dad and I were very close when I was young. My dad was a very cool guy. He was the Black Bruce Lee. He had a black belt. His fists were registered. He had a dojo in the hood. My father taught people how to defend themselves by teaching them karate, and my father's favorite person was Bruce Lee. Hence, me loving kung fu flicks. When I was very young, my father taught me a lot of his. He taught me karate at a very young age, and we were very, very close. And I love my dad. I love my dad a lot. When I was about 10 years old, my father suffered. My father experienced a nervous breakdown, and he was never the same. For years, my father dealt with a mental issue due to having a nervous breakdown, and our relationship became very strained. But we would still spend time together. Me being a young girl, I couldn't understand that. One day, my dad was fine, and then the next day, he wasn't. And so I got a lot of teaching in a short span of time with my dad. It hurt a lot to see my dad laying across there, knowing that I'm sorry, y'all. The most important person in a girl's life is their dad. My father was so cool. My father was a very cool dude. I used to spar with my dad when I was younger. I was the only one that could spar with my dad he would teach my aunt, who was 6 months older than me at the time, 6 months older than me, and the rest of my cousins and I. He would teach us karate. And I would be the only one that could spar with my dad. Because they was like, no, he hits too hard. And I was like, he doesn't hit hard at all. And so my dad experienced a nervous breakdown. And when I saw my dad laying across at the front of that church, at the front of the church, all I thought about was that I was losing my father twice. For those of you who have your fathers, cherish them. I don't care how they are. I don't care what type of relationship you've had. Cherish your dad. Cherish him. I don't care if he doesn't approve of your life. And you haven't spoken in years. Reach out to your dad. Well, my dad was found in his apartment, unresponsive. Now, I said I am an overcomer. How I overcame depression, but this is really a very, very, very transparent very transparent broadcast. And I know it's going to help someone, and it may be a long one, but just bear with me. So, my father passed on December the 10th, 2017, and I was down here in Texas, and I had to drive back home to Brooklyn, me and my 3 children. And I tell you, uh, I drove 90 miles an hour from Texas to Brooklyn. I think I made 26 hours straight. I think I only went to sleep for maybe 45 minutes, if that. And I drove straight by myself with me and my children to get to my dad. After experiencing that, I never knew that I could hurt so much. At the time, my husband and I, we were going through something. And he was there for me. He was there. And he was there to comfort me and everything. And he just kept saying to me, babe, you're going to be all right. At the time, I was supposed to be moving back to Jersey because that's where my husband lived. And I was supposed to be moving back up there with him. And so I was in Brooklyn, and also I was in Jersey with my husband, which if you know the geography of New York and Jersey, that's just across the bridge. So I was with my husband, and he was comforting me about my dad and everything like that. He didn't know what to say because he still had his. And he was raised with both parents in the home, so he didn't understand. And all he kept saying to me was, babe, I'm so sorry. So I didn't want to leave my husband. I didn't want to leave my family in Brooklyn. And I had a job in Texas at the time. I was working in my field. I have a psychology degree, so I was working in my field. And as I was working in my field, I was like, I had a decent job, decent pay. I was working 12-hour shifts. And I was like, it's because of them I was able to come up here. I feel kind of guilty not going back. And he was like, well, if you don't want to go back, you don't have to go back. He was like, you're supposed to be staying up here anyway, moving back. And I was like, yeah. And all the children was with me, and I could have just moved all of us up there at the same time. It just made sense and it felt right. And it just felt like that's what I should have did at the time, and I didn't. So I came back to Texas, drove back. I left on the 4th, got back on the 5th. 4 days, 5 days later, January 9th. Well, no, January the 10th, but January the 9th was the last time I spoke to my husband. And I hadn't heard from my husband since January the 9th. And I started calling around. Everybody puts everything on social media. I just had this feeling that I hadn't heard from him in so long. I was like, what is going on? And our conversation was really weird on January the 9th. It was my daughter's birthday. He was talking to me at work, which was our normal routine. And he would always talk to me at work. It was just things he was saying. And now I know I said I'm an overcomer, but you have to know the whole story. And it's going to take a minute. In his conversation with me on the phone, he kept saying, I want you to know how much I love you. I want you to know that no matter what, you'll always be my Reese cup. No matter what anybody says, you'll always be my Reese cup. And I love you. And he had even said he was sorry. Now, I didn't know what he was talking about. The first thing I said was, what are you talking about? We in a divorce? What's going on? His response was, nah, girl. He's like, I just want to let you know how much I love you. He's like, babe, I love you so much. We go work through everything. because I love you. So I hadn't heard from him. And I just got this weird feeling. It's weird, weird feeling. And I kept saying, no, can't be. I just lost my dad. I can't, I can't be going through this. So, so then, I started calling around to his family, looking on social media, and people were saying this stuff. And I was like, this can't be right. And nobody contacted me. Can't be right. So I started calling his brother. I called his brother. And I got like this ill feeling. I was treated like ill. That's not even the problem. I called his mom. Still got treated the same way. Didn't even understand. And I'm sitting there asking, do you need help with anything? Let me know. You're planning. Everything is done. Cool. And I'm just distraught. And then I'm just going to be real with you. I told her, I said, we was married. She said, oh, I don't know anything about that. And I was like, what? But that's not even the worst part. I go to the funeral, flying back up again. I was just there 2-3 weeks ago, and I'm flying right back up home. My name not on the obituary or nothing. Marriage certificate right in my bag, right in my purse, man. And when I go to talk to her, oh, so you made it? I'm already broken up that the man I love is gone, and I'm already fragile. My dad is gone. My aunt is right there. My dad's sister, she like on my arm. She like, all of that happened. But I'm thankful that it happened. Let me tell you why. Because that's not even the worst part of it. The worst part is coming home to a house where you have so many memories with somebody. Even though he didn't physically live here, this wasn't his permanent address. We had so many memories here, so many good times. And I had a king size bed that we shared together. Couldn't sleep in that bed. I slept on the floor for months. Yo, I slept on the floor for months, y'all. Nobody came to my rescue. I didn't even know I was depressed. I was sleeping on the floor. I was crying myself to sleep every single night. I was begging God to take me. I didn't want to live. My children were just watching me just deteriorate right before their eyes. And it was just crazy. I didn't even know I was depressed. I wasn't bathing. I would brush my hair back. I would brush my teeth. I would wash my face. And I would go to work. Everything was on autopilot. Like, there were days that would go by. I didn't even know what day it was. I just knew when I had to be to work. And that's crazy because I was so on autopilot that I was taking my baby to school. I would just cry. And at that time, my daughter she had just turned 5 years old. And she was like, I miss Daddy. My son and my daughter, we were all in here they would just hear me crying all night long. I was on autopilot. I felt like, what kind of parent am I? But I couldn't help it. I couldn't understand what was going on. Why was this happening to me? Why? I just lost my dad. And in between that time span, I lost the aunt too. So I was like, I couldn't understand. I couldn't understand. I could not understand, like, why? Why would this, what did I do to deserve this? Started blaming myself. Maybe I didn't cover my husband in prayer enough. Maybe I didn't protect him enough. Maybe it was something I did. I was so depressed that I didn't eat. During that time last year, I couldn't tell you when I started eating a real meal. It had to be that one time when I went out with my mom and we ate, and I was only eating because I was sitting in front of my mother. And it was my birthday. And it was really the day after our anniversary. But I overcame, y'all. It was one night I had a really, really, really bad night. I was hyperventilating. And you have to understand, when my husband first left, I could hear him. I mean, like you can hear me, I could hear my husband saying things like, I love you, Reese Cup. I'm so sorry, baby. Please stop crying. Babe, please stop crying. It was one night I had a really, really bad breakdown. And I was in my bathroom and I was hyperventilating. I couldn't even look in the mirror at myself because I was just crying. And every time I looked in my eyes, I just saw so much pain, so much hurt, so much confusion. Questions I kept asking everybody is, why? Why is this happening to me like this? Nobody had any answers. I kept wanting to talk to people, but I knew nobody had any answers. I was so broken at the time. I really was. I was so broken, and I just knew that this was the end of me. The two men that I loved, that loved me, were gone. And there was nothing I could do to bring them back. There was nothing I could say. There was no bargaining that I could do. My hands couldn't do nothing. All the I'm sorry's, all of the I don't care what happened, wouldn't bring them back. All of the please just bring Black back. Please just let this be a lie. Just, let it not be them. It's all I ask for. Every night. This one night I had a really, really bad breakdown. I'm sorry if it's taking long for me to get this out, but I had an encounter with love. I was hyperventilating to the point where I couldn't catch my breath. I mean, like, seriously, like, I couldn't catch my breath. And I'm sitting there and I'm saying within myself, like, my heart is so broken. Like, I don't understand. It hurts so bad. Like, I could literally feel my heart breaking. Like, when people say that their heart is broken, you can actually feel that because you say it so much and you think it, that you cause the anguish within you. I realized that later. I couldn't look at myself. I kept hearing my husband's voice, babe, please stop crying. Babe, just look at me. Just look at me. Just look at me. I kept saying, I must be going crazy. I must be going crazy. I'm already sleeping on the floor because I miss you so much. I would pull out his shirts just so I could smell him. Just so I could smell him. I would look at things that were my father's. Like it was like I was literally torturing myself because I didn't understand and I was trying to make sense of something that nobody could explain to me. But that night, I had an extreme encounter with love. An extreme encounter with love. And I heard my husband said, please help her, God. If not, he said, she's not breathing. Help her. And I'm in the corner. Like, I couldn't even look myself in the mirror. I was facing the wall. Like, it was a little corner behind my door, and I was just facing the wall. And I just sat there, and I just was standing there just hyperventilating. When all of a sudden, after my husband said that, immediately I felt pure love just wrap around me. Just wrap around me. And I just stopped immediately and I caught my breath. And I just took this deep breath in. I stood there encapsulated with love. And I do mean encapsulated. Like I couldn't move. I just felt so much love at that point. And I experience it every single day. And as I'm standing there, as I'm catching my breath, my heart rate begins to slow down. It's just this warm sensation all over me. And as I feel this love, and it's pure love, it's pure love. And I catch my breath. It doesn't let me go. It just holds me. And I hear my husband faintly say, I'm not going to come back anymore because you can't handle it. I'm not going to say anything else to you because you can't handle it. I turn around eventually and I begin to go and wash my face. And I stand there and I look at myself in the mirror and I say, I don't know why you've gone through this. I don't know why you had to experience this, Dearice. But whatever you've been through is to help somebody else overcome this. Because this is not you. And this is going to be a part of your story to help someone else out of it. So every day now, from that day on, I can't even tell you what day it was. From that day on, I have been experiencing so much love on a daily basis. I give love. I said that I was not going to sit on this, that I was going to share this love that I experience with the world. And I went live with my business on Facebook. And that was in June when I went live. Then I started volunteering. I started doing videos every day, and then I started volunteering at a nonprofit organization. I just figured that I had to start somewhere. But I realized that what I was going through and what I felt, someone else felt. I never understood why, but I knew that it was for the greatest reason of all, is to tell you that if you are experiencing depression, if you are at the lowest point in your life, there is a love out here. And if you don't experience it from anybody else, that you can't experience that love here on my channel, Dearice Speaks Life, because I love you. I know it may seem really hard to believe, but I love you. And no matter what you're going through, if you feel nobody else loves you, I love you. And I will always tell you this every single day. That's why I leave every one of my videos out by saying, God loves you, and so do I. And I love you so much. Because after I experienced that, I was so hurt. I was so lost. I couldn't believe that I would experience such hurt. But I went through all of that, and I overcame all of that without any drugs, without any counseling. I knew that it was love that I needed, and I got it right there instantly. And I'm not saying that your experience will be the same. I'm saying that for me, it took place the way it did. Every day I experience such great love. And it's just, I have gratefulness about my life now. And I think back to how selfish I was to want to walk away from such beautiful children. I had 3 biological children and 1 that I didn't have biologically. And they mean so much to me. And it was so selfish of me to think that way. And you may not feel that way right now. You feel like there is no one out here that loves you. But I love you. And God loves you. Even if you don't believe in God, there is a higher power that is ready to envelop you in such an overwhelming love. This this love is so it's just, I don't even have a word for it. It's so warm, inviting, soothing, calming. And for me to experience that was something that I know that I can give to the world. That's why I experienced it the way I did, so that I can give it to the world. That's why I say I am a spiritual coach as well. Because what I encountered was spiritual. It changed my mindset. I immediately went over to the sink and washed my face, allowed myself to come to myself. And I began to talk to myself and encourage myself. It's love. Love is the reason why I'm an overcomer. It had nothing to do with me, because I'm just like you. I was dealing with hurt. I was dealing with sadness. I was mourning two of the most important people in my life as a female. And it changed everything. Everything about me, about the way I viewed the world. And it brought me here to you. I do apologize for. Oh, y'all, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Yes, I'm blowing my nose. And I'm about to get off of here because this is a lot. But you can make it. You can be an overcomer too. I'm sharing my story with you because I know you need it. And I'll be back with more. But God loves you, and so do I. I'm going to try to regroup from this and come back and do another video. I love you guys so much. I love you, and thank you for listening to my life story.